Hello and welcome back. In my previous video you'll have seen me use Segment Pro to design a fruit bowl and also print out a cutting list which I will use to mill the wood that I have into the individual segments that will make up the fruit bowl. So if you haven't seen that design video, feel free to go back and check that out. I'll put a card in one of these corners. I'm not sure which one it will be, but it will be there when you come to watch this. And then you can come back and you can watch this, or you can check it out at some other time. But for now, let's get to milling this wood and make up some rings for gluing together. Okay, so I have here a big spindle of African Padauk and also a spindle of Norwegian maple, and I have my big plank of Sapele as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is mill the maple, and as you can see with the printout for the design, the maple ring is 6mm thick, so I'll cut a strip off of here, 6mm. I'll make it 8mm just so that I have a bit extra to sand the glued ring flush, as it will be quite difficult with such a thin band of wood to have it glued up perfectly flat. So with a little bit extra I'll be able to sand that flush to the 6mm finished thickness. Okay, I have my piece of maple now, 8mm thick. Next thing I will do is cut a strip off of this 43mm wide, and that will give me the width of the ring all the way around. Next we'll cut the Padauk, and according to my cutting list the thickness of the Padauk will be 13mm. With the Padauk cut to the thickness, I can now rip it to the width that I need, which is 23.8, so I'll call it 24, and it tells me that the length of strip I need is 766, which I don't have in this length. This is And finally we have the Sapele, and all of the Sapele layers are 12mm thick, so I'll set the fence to 12mm and rip 5 strips off for it. Now that I have all the strips cut, we can begin to see how this bowl will look when it comes together. I have my base block of American black walnut, my strip of maple, 5 rows of Sapele and Padauk at the top, but I'm kind of worried looking at it that when it's finished the Sapele and the Padauk are going to bleed together too much, and the Padauk isn't really going to stand out as much as I'd like it to. So I had this little piece of maple as an offcut, and I've had a look at it with a strip of maple between the Sapele and the Padauk, and I think that will help the Padauk really stand out as a feature rim to this bowl. So I'm going to mill another thin piece of maple, the same dimensions as the Padauk, so that I can have just again a 6mm spacer in there to really help that rim pop. I'm now ready to start cutting segments to make up the rings. So I have my segmenting sled on my bandsaw set up, and I've changed the blade from my 3/4 inch 6 TPI blade to a 1/2 inch 14 TPI blade, and that should help give a cleaner cut on the faces of the segments that will be glued, so there won't be as much work required to refine those edges for gluing, as in the past when I was using my rougher blade. After cutting the segments I was required to sand quite a bit, and I was sometimes struggling to maintain the angle. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this will reduce a lot of that added work to make up the rings. So I'll start with the bottom ring of maple and work through to the Padauk. And it's as simple as looking at my cutting list, seeing what the segment edge length is and adjusting my stop block to suit. That's all 160 segments cut now, and I've taken the time to dry fit each ring to make sure that I had the correct angle, and I'm really happy with how that has turned out. The 14 TPI blade has done an excellent job of giving me a smoother cut between the segments for gluing together. There's been very minimal refinement needed. It was just a case of sanding off the fuzzy edges, and they've got together pretty well. So I'm ready now to get all of these strings glued together to leave overnight before we start gluing it together into the blank. So the segmented rings were left to dry overnight, and today I've sanded them on the disc sander to smooth off the faces that are now going to be glued together to make the bowl blank. And I've put it together in my segmented press to do a dry fit to make sure that I'm going to have good joints between each layer. I'm pretty happy with how that has worked out. So we're ready now to glue it together. I like to do a dry fit so that I can set the height for this locking nut and the brace boards that I use to compress it, so that once I have all the rings glued together, it's a quick and easy job of putting these in and then just tightening down this lock nut. So I'll slacken this off, take away these brace boards, glue each individual ring, and then get it clamped up and leave it to dry overnight. That's all of the rings glued together now, and as you can see with the use of the press, we have a good amount of squeeze out around all of the rings. So I'm confident that we're going to have strong joints between these rings, and I shouldn't have any trouble when turning it on the lathe. So I'm going to leave it for this video to leave that to dry. In the next video I'll prepare the walnut disc that will be for the base of the bowl. I'll glue it to a base block. I'll round it off, face off the front of it to prepare it for the bowl blank being glued onto it. And then we can get this bowl turned and finished. So I'm really excited to see how it's going to look when it's finished. But for this video, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're as excited as I am to see this bowl when it is finished. Thank you very much to all of my subscribers for continuing to support me and watch my videos. And thank you to all of my new subscribers as well. As of tonight, as I've been recording this, I've hit 900 subscribers, so 100 subscribers left to reach my goal of 1,000, and then I'll be able to do the giveaway that I have planned. So in the meantime, thanks for watching. If you could like and share this video and my channel and my other videos, it would go a long way in helping me to help my channel become more visible and to increase my following as well. Thanks for watching.